Hi there everybody, we are kicking off episode 9 in a pretty good spot to be honest. So in episode 8 I ended with having taken out the biters over here in this general area to the new iron patch. Oh no. Oh, and I forgot about my grenades. Oh hey, those were actually, oh no! But I also took out the pesky biters that were in the lower southwest and southeast areas, so hopefully that will decrease my biter attacks at least for a little while. My wall of ammo and turrets is also doing really good. I've got a decent supply on the belts here, and then I've even extended it up here more to the north, and you can see the ammo is beginning to back up, which is great. So I'm feeling pretty safe at the moment, and then I even have a decent stockpile of my other resources going on here. So at this point, I'm hoping to make a ton of progress in today's episode. Let's start researching some more stuff to get me progressing with the better base. So off camera, I was able to get research done for the electrical poles, which is super great. I'm looking forward to replacing this as I can, or at least just using them in the next base, because these upgraded electrical poles definitely have more coverage than these little wooden ones do. So that is a good thing. And I have researched engines, of course, but there are still a couple other things before I can get to the actual fluid handling. The big one is automation 2. And that only takes 40 of each of the science packs, so I think we will start with that and then go from there. And then once the research is done, we can start automating a couple other things. We can start automating the blue assemblers, which will actually increase speed as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll see you guys in a second once that is done. All right, automation 2 is finished. Let's start something else while we have the chance. Let's see, fluid handling, that is the big one. This really unlocks, of course, the oil processing, which is very important, of course, for blue science, which we will need. So let's start researching that, and then I think we can start now thinking about how to automate the blue assemblers. Let's see, so I have the regular assemblers automated over here, but I didn't leave myself a whole lot of room for upgrades of those. I could potentially just move this to somewhere else, or I could maybe move this machine somewhere else and then replace this with automating the upgraded assemblers. So let's take a look and see exactly what it takes. So steel, iron gear wheels, and electronic circuits, which are all fairly nearby. So I think it might almost be easier just to move the minor assembler somewhere else and then just use this instead for automation of the blue assemblers. So let's change the recipe on that. And instead of iron plate, it takes steel, which we have, oh, conveniently right nearby, right there. We'll have to move that box. And then it looks like it's actually getting everything now except the assembler one, which, let's see, we can, ooh. I'm probably not going to want a full box of that anymore, so what we will do is actually belt it. So we'll do something like this. And we can replace this pole now with an upgraded one. And there we go. So we'll unfortunately have a little bit of buffer with the assembler ones on this line here, but really not enough to truly complain about. And then we just need an output box for this guy, which we can put right there. So I will cap that off at 1 stack, but now we can start using the upgraded assembler 2 machines instead of the assembler 1s, and that way it can actually increase the speed of all of my assemblers as well. Namely, I'm keeping the ammo in mind for that. That'll be a good one, along with things like underground belts, splitters, inserters, things like that that I tend to go through pretty quickly and need pretty quickly. Also, upgrading the assemblers for science would be coming in handy as well. But I need to not forget to now put down a machine for the miners, which I got rid of, and this might be a good area for that. This used to be my old basic ammo assembler, but I got rid of that when I did the upgraded ammo assemblers. And I think this is a little bit different than it was in the end of last episode or the episode before. I actually changed the ratio up for my ammo just a little bit. With these, I'm doing 1 regular ammo supplying 2 of the piercing ammo, so that's the ratio for that one, just because it didn't need a 1-to-1. But I think even a couple of you are saying that I could technically use one of these to supply up to 3 of the piercing ammo machines, but I haven't quite worked it out that way at this point. But there's always later. But we're going to use this, I think, for our first use of the upgraded assembler to make the miners. We'll put the recipe in there. So gear wheels we will need. Oh, and this thing is in the way. Can I move that? Can I move that? And maybe that too. Okay, so here's a little bit better room. Put the recipe back in. We still need iron plate, and then we need green circuits. Here's what I will do. I will borrow green circuits from there and put a long-handed inserter there, which is pretty chaotic, but that should work. Oh, and I keep forgetting to use the stuff on my toolbar for some reason. And there we go. We'll cap it off at 1 full stack again. This might take a little bit of time to build up just because the green circuits are getting put into this box right now and going to other things, but once it is built up, it should be able to pull directly from this line here. Alright, so miners have been moved. We now have production of the blue machines. We'll grab a couple more from there, and let's continue along with the research. And that means we can do oil processing now. That will take 100, but that's really not too bad in the grand scheme of things. So let's get that researching. Then we can start automating the pumps. And then once the pumps are automated, we can go ahead and place them down. So I'm thinking this will probably be the easiest patch to hook up into at this point, just since it's so nearby and we have electricity nearby. But of course, we also have this decent patch over here and this one over there. And apart from that, I really haven't explored this map much. Over here is a mystery to me. I've already forgotten what the map looks like, even on my map generation preview things. So it'll be a bit of a surprise. But let's wait for this stuff to get done. We'll finish automating once the research is done, and then we'll go ahead and start on the oil field. And there is oil processing finished. Let's start on a little bit more research just while we do some chores around the base. At this point, let's see. I almost can't decide what I want next. I think this would be really nice, and that's only 30 of the red science packs, so let's just start on that. That way I can actually start using some filter inserters, and we can start automating a couple more high-end things around the base. But in the meantime, we can start automating those pump jacks, which we just got done researching. And let's remind me, what does that take? So steel, pipes, gear wheels, and electronic circuits. Unfortunately, we are nowhere near steel on this side of the base, although this is where my pipes are. But I could probably just bring the steel over through the labs over here somewhere in this general area. So let's go ahead and do that, I think. Oh, and that was fast. That's already done. Ooh, and I don't have quite enough room. Let's see, how else can I do this? If only I had red underground belt switch. Maybe I can start researching that. Yes, I can. Cool, that will take 200 of each, but I really want those. It'd be nice to have upgraded red things around the base between the red belts, splitters, and underground stuff. So let's start researching that, and I already feel like I'm getting a lot done in terms of my tech for this episode. Alright, so we're trying to figure out how to get the steel over through this way, so I probably have to put a splitter. Ooh, let's see. Somewhere over here. Like that, and bring it around. I think that should work. We should still be able to use... Oh, no. I guess only one inserter, unfortunately, will be able to go into that assembler machine. But that is okay. We'll have it go like that. And then continue along that way. Perfect. So one nice thing I do actually enjoy about spaghetti is it just keeps it interesting because you never know how exactly you're going to get stuff where it needs to go, but that way it is just always fresh to me instead of, like I said, I think around episode 1 or 2, it's always a new game instead of just placing down the same old blueprint over and over. All right, but this is working out nicely. I've got a lot of my resources nearby, almost like a mini bus. So we've got iron gear wheels, iron plate, steel, and then of course coal and copper over here to the more right-hand side. But this is looking a little bit better. So again, the pump jacks take the steel, which we can get from over there. Let's expand that a little bit further down. Unfortunately, this is where my pipes are, though, but maybe I can bring the steel through this line and we'll do some underground belt techniques. We'll get rid of these and then replace those in just a minute. Let's do some underground belt magic. Like so. There we go. And we can do... Let's see... Actually, let's do this with an upgraded machine while we can. Pump jacks. Ooh. These take regular pipe, but I'm trying to think, how can I get it over here? Crap. Okay, let's move that machine. Move that. That was for the lights. But we'll do the pump jack here. Get rid of that pole. And an inserter there. Ooh. Okay, it's almost like I'm just moving everything. If only I had my red belt tech at this point, which I don't. Okay, but that way the pipe will go in here, I think. So pipes covered. We'll do inserter there to get the green circuits in. We need the iron gear wheels and the steel still. Gear wheels, where are they? Okay, way over here. Ooh, that won't work. We need a splitter a little bit sooner. Or I could bring it around. Sorry, bear with me, you guys, while I just kind of talk to myself and sort this all out. Let's see. How do I get the iron gear wheels over here? That is a very interesting problem. Okay, let's see. Let's start kind of fresh. So if I do the gear wheels like this, that will work, but then I need to fix the iron getting down this line. Now how do I fix the iron? Crap. Oh, if only I had red underground belts, so hurry the heck up. Okay, instead, what we're going to do is we're going to swing the iron around in kind of a weird way. Like this. And we'll have it go in a completely opposite direction, which I know is super weird. But that's okay. But I think this should solve the majority of my problems. We'll give it power like that. It's getting the pipe, it's just not getting the steel. Oh yeah, I forgot about the steel. So steel, needs to do something like that and add an underground, or a splitter right there. More undergrounds. Get rid of that. Add a pole over there. And there we go. I think that will work. And we'll cap that off at 1 stack in the box there, and then we just have to fix all this stuff up here, but hopefully this should be relatively easy. Again, that just takes iron plate. Ooh. Oh, and I totally forgot that red inserter in the last episode. This is the tricky part here is, crap. How do we get this guy the iron it needs? Good question. And I can't do any belt weaving yet. I think we'll do it just like that. There we go. Insert there, there, and there. Add it in the power back. We need power. We'll do something like that. All right. Getting messier and messier by the second. To be honest, I actually kind of like it. It looks really crazy, but it's super unique. You're not going to find another base exactly like this one. I'll be a little bit sad when we eventually, inevitably blow it up with a nuke or something. All right, but Logistics 2 is finished. So that will be a huge quality of life thing for me to have the red tech. Ooh. We can now research rails, which I'm not quite ready for that yet, but I think let's start doing, plastic. Because once we get plastic, that means we're even one step closer to getting blue science, and blue science requires, yep, all of those things. So let's start researching that. We'll just slowly kind of build up our tech over time while we do the chores around the base. So, pump jacks. I only have 2 of them because iron gear wheels have really slowed down. They're just not quite keeping up. There's not an obvious way to add to that apart from if I just want to like direct insert, which I can. It won't be like a great ratio or anything, but let's do that. So we'll have this guy have its own supply of iron gear wheels like so. And then let me just upgrade a couple machines around the base like that to help them out. There we go. We'll do red science next. Awesome. And then hopefully I have enough of a... Oh, only 11. Again, that's because we're just not producing enough iron gear wheels, but it'll catch up over time. This is just a very slow accumulation of products. I never expected this to be the most ratio perfect or most efficient thing in the world. There we go. That will help out with the speed a little bit too. All right, so at this point, let's get rid of these guys there. I want to make sure I have enough pump jacks on hand. I want to grab pipes. I have not many pipes. Let's grab a full stack of the straight pipes. We'll grab a bunch of the underground ones. We'll actually fix the cap for 2 stacks on those. It seems like I go through those like crazy when it comes to outfitting the oil fields. And I've got 7 of those on me. Let's see. Do I need any more? I'm only counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for this little oil field over there. So let's wait for 1 more, which we've already got. Fantastic. So that means we can technically start heading over there and getting it good to go. I think I want to grab a little bit more ammo just so we can make sure it's easily and well defended. And we can actually just run through here like that. It's nice seeing the ammo all built up like that. So anyway, I'm going to run over to the oil field and I will see you guys once we get there. Alright, I made it to the oil patch. We're going to start placing these down now. And I usually start by just placing them, down in no particular fashion. You can always rotate these later. You just press, in my case it's R. I don't know what your guys' key is bound to. I've always done some funky things with my keys with their rebinds, but basically the idea is you want to get the oil coming into a unified spot. So this looks actually pretty good. And I try to use the underground pipes where I can, just so I can walk through here a little bit more easily in the future. And we don't have power yet, so I'm sorry that's why it's so dark. But we'll get it in just a minute. And then one last one should do it. There we go. That was about as easy as it gets for setting up an oil field. Now we just need power, which we can pull directly from, actually let's do it from the main line up here, just so that when that runs out, I can tear it down and I'm not dependent on it for power. So like that, let's do some lights right away so we can see a little bit more easily and power up everything else. I didn't even check to see how much fluid per second these patches do. It looks like 12.1 for this one below. Ooh, 29.9 for that one. Very nice. So not the quickest thing in the world, and this will probably deplete pretty quickly, but this is better than nothing. So I definitely want to make sure this is well defended. I know there aren't particularly too many nearby, but this will, of course, cause some pollution. I want to make sure that I don't have to come back here and repair everything every other minute. So I'm just going to defend this with a little bit of a wall right off the bat. Something like that looks pretty nice for starters. Just a nice square. And then, of course, we'll need to add in turrets and things like that. Oh, and there's the plastic that's finished. So I want to start researching sulfur next. So between plastic, that will go into red circuits, and red circuits are needed for blue science and stuff like that. Sulfur is essential to sulfuric acid, so that's very important. And that is 150, so that's a little bit cheaper than the plastic was just a second ago. But let's keep equipping this, and then I think once we get back to base, we'll do a very primitive oil setup. Now, oil is, I think, probably the thing right off the bat that I am tempted to do a basic blueprint for, because oil is typically pretty complicated. For me in particular, but I think it's kind of generally well understood that fluid handling is one of the more complicated things in Factorio. But you'll notice that these things are turned off at the moment because there's nowhere for the fluid to go. It's all built up right now in these pipes. So we're going to have to get these pipes extended all the way back to base and then put them in some tanks, which I'm just going to make by hand on my way there because I don't have those automated quite yet. But then we'll want to set up the tanks and something like that into a sort of refinery system, which I don't have in mind quite yet. But I am, I'll admit, a little bit tempted just to use a blueprint that I already have set up. But we'll see. Let's make our way back there, and then we'll decide. Well, I made it back to base, and you can see I added in these pipes for the crude oil to be coming in through. And in keeping with the theme of spaghetti everything for the starter base, I think I will go ahead and avoid putting down one of my previously made oil refinery blueprints, as I made one in my previous Let's Play, but I think we'll just go ahead and keep it spaghetti. We'll just put some refineries down somewhere in some fashion and figure something out when the time comes. But I also realized I actually don't even have refineries unlocked as a research option yet for something to craft. I am not 100% sure what that takes actually, but probably, let's see, blue science would be my guess. Yep, that's what it takes, or at least partly what it takes. So let's go ahead and do some research for advanced electronics, which I totally forgot about we will need to do for red circuits. Oh boy. That means I'm going to have to figure out getting some better throughput and production of my green circuits, which kind of end here. This is where my little green circuit bus ends. So either we'll have to expand more, maybe add some more green circuits over here, or fit it somewhere else, or expand the line somehow. But I think that will be a problem that we will figure out for next episode. So unfortunately, we're going to have to end with a bit of a cliffhanger with how the oil refinery will turn out. Even I don't know, but we will have to wait for episode 10. So I hope you guys will stick around for that. In the meantime, if you guys want to join me on the fan server, the info for that will be linked down below, and I will plan on seeing you guys next time.